Hey, just a quick comparison between SFC version 7.0 and 5.0. 5.0 is still available, it still works. We've just basically added version 7.0 to the same menu. So if you've already got access to it, you should be able to work. And all I've tried to do is add a few more calculations that weren't there, and also make it a lot more simpler so that people don't get confused or what's what and things like that. So, you can still continue using both of them, but the new version is the one that we will constantly keep developing and updating going forward. And this is where you'll see that we've basically made it very, very simple for anybody to use. You come in, you enter your preferences, whether or not GST applies to you. If you're from US, you just select NA and it does the job for you. If you're from South Africa, New Zealand, Canada, or Australia, all you have to do is select GST and put in the percentage of the GST applicable in your country. We've got different, there are detailed videos available for each one of these, but I'll just quickly run through. We've got sensitivity analysis. We've got a target development rate that you can set up, like a hurdle rate. And you've got residential as well as commercial. And we've got different methods of calculating construction as well as the different sales values. So once you've entered, you just press the save and refresh button, and you basically go wait for it to finish, and then you move on to the next tab, which is your main input tab. So we've got sale value and whether or not some kind of a transfer tax or stamp duty applies to you, which is a percentage of the land value. Closing cost, again, as a percentage of the land value. Land finance options here, they run separate to the construction loan, and you can allocate or allow for interest for them separately as well. We've got residential, commercial, any kind of interim income that you expect to make during the holding period. Let's say you settled, but you are not ready for construction for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, and so on, while you go and get your development approval or permit. So you can account for that over here. And then we've got different kinds of costs that you can allow for, and it leaves you to enter any kind of cost and contingency to it. It comes with a built-in funding table where you can allocate or come up with the costs total for all development costs, what your bank would consider as your total development costs. So when it comes to commercial loan, and especially for construction for development purposes, banks don't consider all project costs to be their development costs. So you can allocate them separately and then go into the funding table and say what percentage of those costs will be funded by the developer or the bank. And once you've got a total development cost, then you've got various funding options that you can use to see which one suits you best. And then if you've got a broker or finance broker that you're working with, and they come back and tell you that this is the exact number that you will be able to borrow, you can come and select that. Or you can come and say, hey, I only have 2 mil. No matter what, I've got to make this thing happen. So everything else has to come in as a debt, because I only can put 2 mil, for example. So I like to call this option like an entrepreneurial option, where I've got that much and I'm going to make it happen within that amount. So, and you've got construction finance and another kind of miscellaneous loan that you can allow for. And that's pretty much it. As soon as you are done, you go into your summary sheet and it's ready. And we do a total for your uses and sources to make sure everything is matching up. And what we've done is we've taken all the complex coding and everything behind the scenes so that anybody, even a 12-year-old can run numbers on any development project professionally. And this is really good for develop and sell scenarios, especially if the project starts and finishes between 24 to 36 months. And because your IRR will not be very different from all the metrics that you get here. So the main difference is that we don't run cash flows in this feasibility. And if you want to do detailed cash flows and S-curve distributions, and you also want to select the steepness of the S-curve and all the complex stuff, and have different kind of financing and mezzanine options for funding and so on, check out Lead Developer Plus. We released a new version for it, and we are rolling out all these videos slowly and steadily. So if you want a detailed one so that you can develop and hold it for 10 years and see what you're going to sell it for after 10 years, or dynamically you can expand it unlimited, like 15 years, 30 years, whatever you wish to do. So check out Lead Developer Plus for that. But if you are from Australia, and I know that a lot of people from Australia and UK and South Africa, where you are simply going to develop something and sell it towards the end of it, this is the best option and the easiest option and the more detailed option, and also the most simplest option to use and have a feasibility that's at par with a professional report. So yeah, and it's got sensitivity analysis built in, not just for the development profit, development margin on cost, and margin on revenue, which is very in UK they go by the margin on revenue side of thing, whereas in Australia it's more on the margin on cost thing. But we always have to look at, you know, what kind of money are we going to make on the development margin on the cost and so on. And then based on that, your return on equity, what would that look like? We've introduced the residual value of land as a sensitivity table in this, so that you would know that, okay, if you know, whatever you allowed for, and, you know, if something was to happen, you know, to be able to look at how much you should have paid for the land in that scenario, you can do that here. So this is really good. Check it out. If you got questions, shoot me an email and I would be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'll see you in one of our closed group where, you know, I can address any of your queries, or you can schedule a call with me and I can walk you through everything. Thanks.